Hello students, welcome back. This is Dr. Chetna Kumawat and today we will understand types of dividend policy. The first one is stable or regular dividend policy. Stability of dividend means uniformity or absence of variability in dividend payments. In other words, regular payment of dividend at a fixed rate every year regardless of the fluctuations in the earnings of the company. Therefore, when the management of a company follows the policy of paying dividend at a fixed rate and maintains it for all times to come regardless of fluctuations in the level of its earnings, it is said to be a stable dividend policy. In such a policy, the shareholders are assured of a fixed rate of dividend that is paid in the years of prosperity as well as in the normal or lean years. During the periods of prosperity, the company builds up reserves to maintain dividend amount during lean years. Stability of dividend policy does not mean that the rate of dividend shall never be increased. If the company's earnings increases and if it hopes to maintain it at that level, it may increase its annual dividend. Similarly, dividend will not be reduced due to fall in earnings until it is felt that the company will not be able to recover it. The stability of dividends is described in two different ways. A. Constant dividend per share and B. Constant payout ratio. Constant dividend per share. Under this form, a company pays a certain fixed amount per share by way of dividend. For example, a company may pay rupees 4 as dividend per share having a face value of rupees 100. The amount of rupees 4 would be paid regularly year after year and the fluctuations in earnings will not affect the amount of dividend. This policy is followed by those companies whose earnings are stable for long term. But in order to follow this, a company whose earnings are not stable may have to create dividend equalization reserves in those years when there are higher earnings. Generally, the policy of stable dividend is preferred by those persons and institutions who depend upon the dividend income to meet their living and operating expenses. B. Constant percentage of net earnings. According to this form, a certain percentage of net earnings or profits is paid by way of dividend to shareholders year after year. That is, a constant payout ratio is followed. For example, a 40% dividend payout ratio indicates that the company will distribute 40% of its earning to the shareholders and 60% will be retained in the business. If a company earns rupees 5 per share, the dividend amount will be rupees 2, which is 40% of rupees 5 per share. In the second year, if earnings per share goes up to rupees 8, the dividend will be rupees 3.20, which is 40% of rupees 8. On the other hand, if the earnings per share goes down to rupees 4, the amount of dividend will come down to rupees 1.60, which is 40% of rupees 4. Under all these cases, a stable dividend rate of 40% has been maintained by the company, but the amount of dividend per share fluctuates proportionately with earnings. Companies generally prefer this type of stability because it reflects the ability of the company to pay dividends, but it is not preferred by shareholders as the return fluctuates with the amount of earnings and it also involves uncertainties. Advantages of stable dividend policy. Stable dividend policy is preferred by most of the shareholders and followed by many companies due to the following reasons. Number 1, confidence among shareholders. Number 2, investors' desire for current income. Number 3, institutional investors' preference. Number 4, stability in market price of shares. Number fifth, raising additional finance. Number sixth, market for debentures and preference shares. And lastly, helpful in long-term finance planning. Policy of regular plus extra dividend. This is number 2 type of dividend policy. Under this policy, a company pays a fixed dividend per share to the shareholders and an extra dividend in the years of prosperity. The designation extra is used in connection with the payment to tell the shareholders that this is extra and may not be maintained in future. Further, to distinguish between regular and extra dividend, some large companies assign different numbers to regular and extra dividend. The policy of regular and extra dividend provides flexibility to the company, but on the other hand, it creates uncertainty in the minds of shareholders as to what exactly their dividend income would be. Hence, it is not preferred by shareholders. This policy is more suitable to those companies who earn abnormal or extraordinary income in a particular year. If this extraordinary income becomes a permanent feature, then extra dividend may be converted into regular dividend and the rate of dividend is raised accordingly. The next policy of regular bonus dividend. Under this policy, the company pays dividend in the form of its shares instead of cash. Such shares are designated as bonus shares, which is often used to capitalize companies' retained earnings. It does not at all affect the liquidity position of the company but increases the shareholding of the owners. The policy can be justified in the following circumstances: when the company needs cash generated by its earnings to cover its modernization and expansion schemes, and when the company is deficient in cash despite high earnings. This policy should be followed temporarily. If it is followed for a long term, the earnings per share would decline and the value of shares in the market would adversely be affected. Besides, this policy is not favored by those shareholders who have strong preference for cash dividend. Policy to pay irregular dividend. Under this policy of irregular dividend, the amount of dividend to be paid by the company to shareholders fluctuates with the changing level of earnings. The larger the earnings, the higher is the dividend and vice versa. This policy is adopted due to uncertainty of earnings, inefficient operations of business, shortage of cash, and fear of adverse effect of regular dividend policy on the financial position of the company. Generally, this policy is adopted when companies have fluctuating investment opportunities. A large part of the profits should be retained in the year in which the company has profitable investment proposals whose execution may result in sufficient profits. On the contrary, if in any year the company has limited or no investment opportunities, the management may distribute larger share of earnings as dividend. Policy of a no immediate dividend. When directors of the company decide to declare no dividend despite large earnings, then it is known as policy of a no immediate dividend. This policy is usually pursued in the following circumstances: when a company is new, which requires a huge amount of funds for development purposes; when company's access to capital market is difficult for raising additional funds or availability for additional capital is costlier; and when shareholders have strong preference for long-term capital gains in lieu of cash dividend. After the expiry of no dividend period, the company should either pursue the policy of paying stock dividend from its reserves, or company's shares should be split into shares of small amount so as to keep dividend per share low and larger amount of dividend to shareholders. Such an action is necessary to keep share prices at reasonable levels. So this was all about types of dividend policy. We have discussed so many types, and this is it for today's lecture. Thank you so much for your patience and learning.